Before I even start this video, I need to say that the news coming out against the SEC versus Binance is probably about your 10th warning to get your funds off of Binance. Any amount of funds that you are using, that you are storing on Binance, essentially using it as your wallet provider, and you would be pretty sad to see those funds disappear. Go ahead and get your coins off. That's your warning. And that would be a shame for anyone to have to experience, especially after everything that so many people have experienced this past year through Celsius, FTX, BlockFi, Voyager, all of which, by the way, we gave warnings for people to take custody over their coins. Some of those instances, Celsius, FTX, BlockFi, were several weeks, if not months, before the actual shutting down of those platforms happened. A lot of people thank us for taking the time to issue that warning, and so here we are again ringing the alarm. Get your coins off of Binance. You know, why not be prudent here? If you're worried about the survival of Binance, you should be more worried about taking ownership over your coins, period. Your loyalty should be to yourself at this point and to preserve what you can of your wealth. There's so many different ways that your wealth is being eroded from you through inflation, through increased taxes. Don't let a centralized exchange add another layer to that. That's my 2 cents. Anyway, let's get into the video. Binance is being sued by the SEC. It's finally happened. Gary is going after the big guys in crypto, the largest cryptocurrency exchange. They're targeting Binance.us, but is Binance International immune? I don't think so. There's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what's happening and what to expect in the future and what other collateral damage might happen in this lawsuit. If you guys are interested in these updates and you appreciate what we do, we appreciate it if you hit the like button and hit subscribe. We put out these videos every single day in an effort to keep you up to date on everything that's happening that we think you should know about in the cryptocurrency space. If you want to know specifically what we are choosing to do or not do with our cryptocurrencies, go ahead and check out a link to the CT Club down below in the video description. Lots of warnings there, lots of tips on when we're making trades, what our portfolio looks like, what our overview on the market is. It's taking a little bit of a dip here. So what are we doing now with our cryptocurrencies? If you want to check that out, CT Club down below in the video description. Additionally, one last little info here. If you want to follow Toby on Twitter, I highly recommend it. Go ahead and check out Sir Crypto Tips on Twitter and give him a follow. I think you'll enjoy what he brings to your Twitter feed. Okay, so Binance has finally been sued by the SEC for being in violation of U.S. securities laws. This one is being brought up against Binance.us specifically because it is the U.S. branch of Binance International. But does that mean Binance International is completely separate from this? I don't think so whatsoever. There's been interviews and testimonies from the current chief compliance officer at Binance.us and other employees at that company that have basically said they felt like they were just a puppet, that the real people who are controlling Binance.us, the real people who are in control and dictating how that company works is CZ and his team. So there's not a lot of separation between Binance.us and Binance International. That's what's being portrayed at the moment. Now there's other heavy allegations coming out against CZ specifically in this lawsuit that user funds were commingled, not only just Binance US funds, but also international funds were commingled and sent to an account at Merit Peak, which is owned and controlled by CZ. And that account then subsequently made trades with those funds to other third parties. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, it is a very familiar situation that we should all be recognizing, is when FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried moved user funds from FTX to Alameda Research, who then gambled away their user funds. A lot of people are alleging now that those funds moved from Binance to Merit Peak were subsequently used to purchase CZ's newest yacht to the tune of like $145 million. So all of this is going to come out in court, right? And CZ is saying that they are ready to fight to the fullest extent of the law. They're ready to defend themselves. And they're a pretty well-funded team. Are they more well-funded than the SEC Is any court going to favor a cryptocurrency project over a US government approved agency? That is yet to happen, my friends. Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, is saying, and I tend to agree with him, and Toby does as well, that these moves from the SEC taking down exchanges that are trying to be regulatory compliant in the US. Binance.us, by the way, was created in 2019 in a special effort to be compliant in the US and to provide cryptocurrency investment services to US citizens. Now that this very likely could be completely obliterated, is an effort to constrict the US citizens and their ability to gain exposure to, independent, peer-to-peer, decentralized cryptocurrencies that aren't government issued, that aren't centralized digital currencies. There's also more collateral damage in this lawsuit against Binance that's threatening cryptocurrencies, a number of different ones, but some new ones that the SEC is really frothing to label as securities. And this time they're labeling Matic, Solana, Cardano, which is maybe why Charles Hoskinson was getting vocal about this one. Also Atom and Sand. So some pretty big, reputable cryptocurrency projects are now going to be under a threat of being labeled a security. It's important to note, first and foremost, that the SEC and their lawsuits against these cryptocurrency companies, they are a civil matter. It is not necessarily criminal. But there are some allegations from the SEC about Binance that could be pursued by the Department of Justice, and that means criminal charges could be on the table. And that's going to play into my best case scenario for Binance and worst case scenario for Binance. So let's get to the point. The best case scenario for Binance at this point is that they're going to have to pay a huge fine, possibly, obviously in the billions at this point, because they could possibly have to be paying back all the ill-gotten gains since 2019 when Binance.us was first launched, all the way to shutting down Binance.us permanently and basically banning CZ from ever doing crypto anything in the US. And worst case scenario, again, a huge fine, a shutdown of Binance.us, a shutdown of Binance International. And the reason that those two are tied is if they could find that user funds have been commingled and sent elsewhere to do nefarious things. Additionally, if the Department of Justice does get involved, certainly CZ could be seeing jail time. Is he going to be sitting in a cell right next to Sam Bankman-Fried? Also, in light of everything I've just said and everything we've witnessed from Gary Gensler versus the cryptocurrency world, and also for those of you who are not yet convinced that crypto will leave the US, maybe entirely, as we're seeing the story play out against the SEC versus Binance, we have Brazil, whose largest cryptocurrency exchange has now been licensed as a payment institution by Brazil's central bank. So as some countries are trying to suffocate crypto innovation, others are seeing it for what it is, a brand new innovative industry that has a lot of opportunity for them to establish themselves as an authority in a new growing economy. So thumbs up to Brazil. That's going to wrap it up for this video. If you guys want to know my opinion on what's going to be happening with Binance Smart Chain, with this lawsuit against Binance, it is not immune, my friends. That is not, my opinion is that it is not immune at all. If you want to know my thoughts on that, go ahead and hit subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when that video comes out. It's coming out shortly. I think it's a helpful update for any of you who are using that blockchain, those wallets, to make trades, to make passive income on the DeFi there. I think it's you got to check it out. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.